I have a question about this morning's sermon. You mentioned at one point that there was a passage that you were studying. This was during the second one. In Colossians. Whereabouts in Colossians?
About covetousness?
Yeah.
Colossians 3.
Colossians 3.
And five. Yeah, thank you. Therefore put to death your members which are on the earth, fornication, uncleanness, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry. And it's interesting, why I'm studying is I'm fascinated by the imperatives because they don't jump out to us because we are, in our culture, things are bolded and color and everything else, but in the Greek language it was just a little short ending. And God says, slay these bad habits, fornication, uncleanness. And then he equates in verse 5 covetousness with idolatry, which is, idolatry is having another God in place of the true and living God, which we would see would be really bad. I mean, you can see Christians that can be involved in immorality and get unclean and have passions and evil desires. But idolatry is an abandonment of the true and living God. So what's your next part of your question?
Well, that was it. That's what you meant by taking all your stuff and piling it up and making a little Buddha out of it.
Exactly. Because, see, we live, and that's Colossians 3:5, we live in a society where covetousness is almost a virtue. A covetous person is wanting they want to have what others have, and that's what drives our society. I mean, most sales things. I grew up in the Amway age, when everybody I knew was in Amway, and the whole Amway thing was that you want to have a better car, you want to have a better house, you want to, and I don't know what it is now, I'm talking about in the 60s, that you were supposed to, I went to these meetings, and they told you that you get a picture of the Cadillac or whatever car you want, and you stick that, and you look at it every day, and you go out with your little Amway satchel because you're going to get a better car. And it's a discontentment that leads to, in fact, why I stopped in Amway was every time I was about to share the gospel, I'd think, now, should I share the circles with them? The circles. Anybody in Amway knows what I'm talking about, And should I do that first and then the gospel? Because if I share the gospel and they don't like it, they won't listen to the circles. But if I share the circles and they like it, then I can share the gospel later. And I all of a sudden became torn with everybody I met. Was I going to do the Amway thing or the gospel first? And I thought, that's not a good position to get in. But we've enshrined covetousness. We've made it discontent and covetousness as a part of American culture. And God says it's like idolatry. And so an idol is something that you sacrifice God for. How many people sacrifice God for their career, for their retirement, for their boat, for their house? And there's a diminution of their whole walk with the Lord and love for the Lord, and they are consumed till the dream house is done, until the whatever. So that's what I was talking about. Did I say enough about that?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Dale.